Like all Ferrari special editions, the 296 Speciale is not just about horsepower. There's more of a holistic attitude to making this car faster. So it's more powerful, yes, but it's also more aerodynamic. It's got a lower center of gravity, it should be better to steer, and it's got a faster gearbox. It's about a host of other tweaks. So let's look at the basics. Now, you may have noticed, this is the Spider version of the 296 Speciale, but the drivetrain is pretty much the same as the GTB, except uprated. So it's got the same 3.0-liter V6 in the middle, but this time it's 37 horsepower more than the standard car, bringing it up to about 700 horsepower. And then behind that is an uprated electric motor, which produces 180 horsepower. That gives you the 880 horsepower of the whole car. The interesting thing is that that electric motor now makes so much torque that they can use it to fill in the minuscule gaps in the changes from the 8-speed dual-clutch gearbox. So it changes faster. And yes, you can still run it around on electric only by plugging it in, because it's got a 7.5 kilowatt-hour battery, giving you 15 to 20 miles of EV-only range. But 50 horsepower isn't actually all that much for a turbo hybrid monster. But the Speciale is also 60 kilograms lighter than a standard car, and that's because it's paid attention to lightweight. The obvious stuff is carbon for the bumpers and engine bay and the wheels. But Ferrari saves 9 kilograms by changing elements of the engine for titanium and forged bits. Even the head studs and fasteners are titanium, and the engine block and crankcase have been shaved so they don't carry any excess metal. The turbo itself is lighter, and there's an F80-ish titanium alloy exhaust pipe and more carbon fiber. I'll show you the inside in a minute. But this is weight saving via marginal gains rather than huge bits deleted. It's a very F1 sounding program. Even the suspension is light. Now this car rides about 5mm lower than standard, and it's got specific Multimatic shocks derived from the Challenge cars. But the springs, guess what they're made of? Titanium. There's not going to be any titanium left at this rate. We'll start with the really obvious stuff, these winglets. The FXXK called and it wants its little wings back. But these provide a really good aerodynamic solution for this car in that they produce downforce and they manage the airflow over the top surface of the car. They also work with the spoiler that's adaptive. So it used to have two modes, low drag mode for really high speeds, and then a high downforce mode which popped up really high. Now it's got a new medium mode for a bit of the best of both worlds kind of operation. Then there's a new splitter down here with these vortex generators, which break up the airflow and again produce stability. Completely flat floor. This should be a fast car. See these intakes here? Well, obviously they feed the engine, but they also act as a blown diffuser for the rear wheel arch. It's clever. Then at the front, you've got the aero damper concept, which makes the front of the car look really wide. Look how far that is, giving you much more surface area to get things into radiators and cool the whole thing down. And then, as you move up over the car, you get this big scallop, which is a bit like an F80, which again allows air to be drawn through the car and up and over the windscreen. These little vents here actually act as a blown system for the front wheel arch, releasing the pressure when it's going really quickly. And then if you look down here, this vent actually channels air onto the front brake disc. Now there's loads of clever venting and vanes and stuff that channel air onto the brake disc to keep it at a consistent temperature. Even the lower control arms are planned to channel air onto the brakes. It's very clever. Oh, and carbon ceramic brakes and Sport Cup 2s as standard. Inside, it's as you might expect. It has got the comfiest sports seats I think I've felt in a Ferrari for a long time, but everything is very pared back, and as you would expect, it's a hymn to carbon fiber and Alcantara, So the door cards are made of one giant block of carbon fiber, and it's just got this little handle that's pressed into it like a little carbon fiber ledge to close the door. And then the stereo doesn't have kind of covers to it. It's just holes drilled into the actual carbon fiber, which makes it feel very racy. I suspect this might be quite loud, and it will be, because even though the 296 GTB has acoustic tubes to bring some of the noise of the engine into the cabin, then you've got a carbon fiber steering wheel, Alcantara dash, to stop all the reflections. It just feels very focused. There's a really good driving position. In the middle, again, carbon fiber center console, and then this gatey bit where there used to be a manual gearbox, and that chooses all your different things for the gearbox. Interestingly, this car has 4 different modes, and the interesting ones are e-drive, which allows you to drive around purely on electric mode. Then there's hybrid, which chooses whichever it feels is most efficient, so that's the one that you can drive around in normally. So, prices and performance. Well, the Speciale isn't about raw figures, but the numbers themselves aren't to be sniffed at. 0 to 62 miles per hour in 2.8 seconds, more than 205 miles per hour top speed. But a more representative metric for what this car's about is a Fiorano lap time of 1 minute 19 seconds, whereas standard GTB manages 1 minute 21. That is not a small amount for such a small track. And the cost? The good news is that this isn't a limited run car. Though there's a limited time for production, which itself limits numbers, and you have to be what's called an active customer for Ferrari. So you have to have bought some sort of Ferrari, be that new or used in the past 5 years, and then be far enough up the waiting list. So if you have 407,000 euros for the coupe, or 462,000 euros for the Spider, you're in luck, with prices varying according to local tax and tariff needs. This was your first look at the Ferrari 296 Speciale, a machine where electrification meets adrenaline. For more supercar spotlights, deep dives, and first look exclusives, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications.